It is Friday. How do you feel about that? It's Friday. You made it through another week of life and of business building and of private practice, or of whatever the heck you're doing. Maybe you are, I don't know, maybe you're like a, I don't know, maybe you're not in private practice. Maybe you're just a dude. Maybe you're just a dude who hangs out on the beach and listens to a private practice podcast because it's so excellent. There's just no telling who you are. But if you're out there and if you're just a dude, then I welcome you as well. And I also welcome you to apply for coaching because I think we get a lot done. So that's what I have to say about that. Today is the fifth and final part of our series where I'm talking about 5 lessons I've learned in building 5 businesses each. 5 lessons each. That's a lot of lessons. That's like 25 lessons. I'm no mathematician, but that's like 25 lessons. So today we're talking about 5 lessons that I learned in building the one and only Unconditional Media. Let's dive in. All right. So we're going to go through these fairly quickly. I'm not going to waste your time today. It's Friday. It's time for you to enjoy the weekend, but I still want you to get the information that you are here for. All right. Unconditional Media. It's been an adventure. It's been an adventure. We have not been in business all that long. We just hit a year, I think, yesterday. I was talking with Matt, my very first AdWords specialist, about it today, and he was like, man, can you believe it's been a year? That's amazing. We've experienced so much growth in the past year, which I think tells me that we really tapped into a need for therapists. For me, the need that we tapped into was, number one, the therapists have a hard time, rightly so, trusting digital marketers. So there was a hard time trusting a digital marketing company. And number 2, we got priced out of a lot of bigger digital marketing companies and we got ripped off. So basically what I've done is, I think, solve that problem for therapists. And I think that's why the business has really gone where it's gone. We love relationships at Unconditional Media. I only hire people based on really their ability to form relationships and maintain great relationships with our clients. The last part is, I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. I also hire people that really care about therapists. They care about the work that therapists are doing. And most of them on my team, they have a personal connection to therapy, to mental health, etc. And so this work, even though it's digital marketing work, even though it's Google AdWords, it still means something to them. And I think that goes a really long way for our clients. So we are serving over 70 private practices all around the country every single month. And we've served a lot more than that over the past year. But we have over 70 in our current program, current monthly program. And overall, these businesses and these practice centers love what we're doing for them. And I love what we're doing for them. So if you've been thinking for a while about, getting started, getting some help, then check out our Google AdWords program. Just go to unconditional.media. You'll go through an application process there. You'll hear from Kelly, our project manager at that company. And then she'll take you through our intake process and the whole thing. So we've worked really hard to smooth things out over the past year and make sure you have a really positive experience right off the bat. And make sure that we are helping you month after month fill those empty slots in your calendar. So yeah, little plug for Unconditional Media, but I can't help it because it's exciting, because I love it. I love the company. I love what we've done, and I love my team, and I believe in them. So I wouldn't put them out there into the world and into our private practice industry if I didn't fully believe in them. So check them out. They know what they're doing. All right. All that is to say that there's been some lessons learned along the way in building this business, given that it was a new kind of business, for us a year ago. So let's get into it, right? Number 1, people want to do business with people, not with a company or product. I think I heard Chris Ducker say this for the first time, I heard it from Chris Ducker, and I thought, that's profound. That's so true. That's incredible. Like that's so on point. People want to do business with people, not with a company. And so again, I think that people really feel that when they're working with our team. It's not just a product. We're not just selling a thing or a gadget. We really care, and we're building a relationship with you from the start. And we happen to be helping you fill those empty slots in your calendar all along the way. So that's number 1. Huge lesson, and a huge lesson for any kind of business building, to be honest. So number 2, 20% of your efforts will yield 80% of your results. So this comes from I think it's an old story about like a farmer where he was planting his seeds and he realized that 80% of his yield came from 20% of his seeds. Let's say he was a tomato farmer or whatever. This is kind of the 80-20 rule. And if you've ever heard the 80-20 rule, then this is more or less what it means, at least what it means to me. So again, when you think about your work and what you're doing, about 20% of your efforts, they do produce about 80% of your results. So kind of doing an 80-20 analysis of virtually anything in your life is probably a good idea to figure out what's really important versus what is just a distraction or a shiny object, etc. So think about that and what you're doing, and hopefully the wheels are turning as you're listening to this and thinking about your own life and your own business. So again, 20% of your efforts yield 80% of your results. And for us, that was really realizing that Google AdWords was 80% of what we're doing, or producing 80% of the results of the company. So that's why we really have niched down toward Google AdWords to make that our primary offering, because that's what we're best at, and that's the program people have loved the most, and it's really taken off. So continues to grow every single day. That's number 2. Number 3, decide what you believe about how to approach customer service. I wish I had learned this a lot earlier on, and I'm still learning it, right? But helping create the customer service end of Unconditional Media has definitely been an adventure in itself. Whenever you're offering a product or a service, and especially a service-based industry, you're going to get a lot of different reactions from a lot of different people when you have a transaction with them, when they give you money for a service. So I'm still figuring out what I believe, right? Is it that the customer's always right? Is it that they're sometimes right, but sometimes they can be downright mean? I think it's a matter of both, but I think you have to do customer service in a way that aligns with your values and really makes sense for you. So I would say in building a different kind of business that's not therapy, think about how you want to approach customer service. Or even if it is your therapy practice, I still think it's worth thinking about how you want to approach customer service. All right, number 4, know what true category design looks like. This is a huge one. So I'm dishing out the 80-20 rule today, and now I'm dishing out category design. This is a huge concept for me. And actually, my friend Jamie J from Slapshot Studios taught me about category design when I was at Slowdown School with Joe Sanok, which I'm co-hosting in like 3 weeks, coming up really soon. Slowdown School with Joe Sanok. Would you believe that? So Jamie J taught me about category design. So, and maybe I talked about this earlier this week. Things are bleeding together just a little bit. But basically, I did talk about it. Rather than trying to compete for number 2 in a category that's not owned yet, really think about owning a category that's not already owned by someone or a company or a product already. And so, Google AdWords for therapists, in the program and in the way that we do it, making it super affordable, super high touch, having a dedicated AdWords specialist on your team for your practice is category design for our industry. So think about that. Think about how you can design a category and own a category in your industry, one that's not already owned. All right. Number 5, make a product that it's good enough to not need to do a lot of marketing for, right? If you have a product that's really great, people are going to want to talk about it. So if you're building a business, you're launching a new product, right? One of the best ways to really gain trust of people is to have other people talk about your product for you. So if your product is good, you're doing great work, you have great relationships with the people that you're serving, then people are going to want to talk about your product. So I think that's one of the beautiful things that has happened over the past year at Unconditional Media is that people who've had great experiences are likely to talk about their experiences with us. And then more therapists come and they join up, they sign up and they start working with us. So it's great. Man, flew through that one again. I'm just a speed master today. Either that or some people are like, this guy's so slow. I might just be totally wrong. Who knows? It's all about perception. I also get incredibly hot when I'm doing podcasting. And this comedian, Chris D'Elia, that I listen to, the Congratulations podcast, he is the same thing for him. He's like, I get extremely hot when I'm podcasting. And I think I think I know why. I think it's because your brain is just working really hard. You're processing all this information, you're delivering info, there's a camera on. And so you're aware of that. You're trying to make sure you look like a human being and not an ape. So, there's a lot going through your mind. It's heavy lifting, heavy lifting for the brain. Just to recap again, 5 lessons learned from building unconditional media. People want to do business with people, not with a company or product. Number 2, it's the 80-20 rule. 20% of your efforts yield 80% of your results. 3, decide what you believe about how to approach customer service. Number 4, learn about true category design. Number 5, make a product that's so good that you don't need to do much marketing. I hope that was helpful. That was a fun one for me, and it's been a really fun week, another 5-part series. The biggest favor that you could do me in exchange for listening to this show would be to leave us, to rate, review, and subscribe to our show on iTunes. Do me that favor. So right after this episode ends, just do me a favor, 5 stars, rate, review, and then click that subscribe button on iTunes. And in doing so, I will look forward to seeing you next week. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you then. Take care of yourself. Cheers.